I got to Jacksonville at age 22, right out of college, and it was a new place. And I actually bought into Mayor Garbo's vision of the bold new city of the South. And I thought, hey, I could establish some roots here. I do recall getting my first line of credit at the credit union, simply as I began to expand other ideas that I wanted to do other than simply just cashing a check. And full credit to Jax Metro Credit Union for investing in me and believing in me that helped me to establish myself as a business person.
The credit union was actually chartered in 1935 by a group of utility workers. The original field of membership was the port employees, the water utilities, and the electric utility departments. I got involved in the credit union movement quite by accident. Credit unions were all small in the 70s, and I was supposed to go on off to college and not do credit union work, and I actually fell in love with credit union work and members. Everybody knew everybody. You knew them by name, not numbers, and they were very personable. It was really one big family, and we operated that way too. We were able to operate really people helping people, and you could actually see and do that every day in a real way. And so I kind of grew up with the credit unions.
I became a member of JEB through my wife. She was telling me about the credit union and the wonderful things the credit union was doing. So I joined. It was about a year or so later, I was working for Public Works. I think it was in the engineering division. One of the engineers there said, "Would you like to be a board member of our credit union since you're a member?" I said, "Sure, why not?" When I first started with the city back in '78, I was a planner working with neighborhood groups in some of the impoverished areas of Jacksonville. I was still working in some of the areas in engineering and sanitation, but at the same time, I was very familiar with those impoverished areas that I thought could use the benefits of a good credit union because no one at that time was reaching out to them.
In some ways, when I came to work at Jacksonville Utilities, it was like stepping back into the credit unions that I started in the 70s, because it was very much a real close family. But then in other ways, it was a big opportunity to bring new services that they had never seen. After we began implementing more services and expanding our field of membership to the community and to other groups, we had merged with the JEB Credit Union at that point, and so that was all the city and workers. It didn't make sense anymore that people knew us as the Jacksonville Utilities Employees Credit Union. Not to mention that that was a mouthful to say every time I answered the phone. And so we intentionally looked for a name that could identify us as both the city and the utility worker credit union, and that would also be part of the community, because we were a Jacksonville utility credit union in the metro area. We chose the name Jax Metro Credit Union. So there was a lot of intention that name, not just to change the name, but to be a name that would identify, hey, this is who we are today.
We were just trying to figure out, okay, how can we maneuver? How can we survive? We're very healthy, great balance sheet, great membership. But looking 5, 6, 7 years down the road, especially with the retirements of some of the core people, how are we going to keep up? And, we kicked the tires on a few credit unions. Some had, reached out to us, and we looked at them and were like, oh, this ain't going to work. And then, we ran into Martin, and we started talking to Martin. We started looking at self-help and how they treated their members, and basically the core culture of self-help. It was a member first, member driven, cared about the membership and the employees as well.
We merged with self-help in 2016. We were a successful credit union, we were profitable, and we had a very good membership. Still do. And so we were selective. we said, we're going to find somebody that's going to take care of us. I go back to our history of those personal relationships and how important it was to understand how important the family and the credit union is to people in their lives and in their communities. Self-help knew that. They understood that.
When you live in a neighborhood, you're vested in everything that's there. And when you are there, you care about your neighbors and you care about what's happening on the next street over. One of the ways that we're helping to change our community, and community is so much more than building houses and building businesses, it's about working with the people who live in the community. Most of our community is underbanked. Many people never establish banking accounts. As we would endeavor to help them become credit worthy so that they could purchase a home, we simply had to begin with the simple conversations of, do you own a bank account? And of course, it's much easier if we're referring people to where we feel comfortable. And it's about understanding that careful relationship that's taking place and helping them transition and establish credit and credit worthiness. It's an easy step. And if you're in the middle of the community where people actually live, they're comfortable with you.